It's Sweet Temptation. Sweet, sweet.
Hello and welcome in. It's another episode of Basic AF, a podcast that's mostly about tech. I'm Tom Anderson, joined as usual by my co-host, Jeff Battersby. Jeff, how are you, sir?
I'm well. I am very well. It is a gorgeous fall day in New York today.
Same in Virginia today. It's been splendid all week, a little late summer, like feels like mid-September, no humidity, but the temperatures have been sweet.
Oh my gosh. I've been sitting on my front porch writing every single day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Been good.
All right. Well, welcome in to everyone. Welcome back.
We're going to a 30-minute episode today.
We're going to try and compact these things out of respect
Tom,
for your time.
Shut me up quick.
And we're going to try switching the format up just a little bit. So let us know what you think about this one. As always, if you have a question, hit us up, feedback@basicafshow.com. Also, be sure to follow us, subscribe, whatever the terminology is in your favorite podcast app. So without further ado, let's jump into this one. We had a couple of announcements this week from Apple, Jeff.
Yep, we did.
And so as we record this, it is October 28th. Show will come out on October 30th in the afternoon. So depending on when you listen, it may be before or after the event that Apple announced for this Monday, October 30th. Interesting time slot for this one, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Do the math if you're in Europe. I think it's 1 a.m. or something like that. So good luck. So they've given the tagline for this one, Scary Fast. This looks to be a Mac update from everything that I've read and kind of makes sense.
Yeah, people guessing on, is some guesses both sides of an M3 iMac or an, updated M2 iMac. And who knows, maybe I don't know, you think they'll throw a MacBook Air in there? I doubt it.
So Bloomberg had a post an article yesterday, I think it was Mark Gurman, and it looks like 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros will get updated, iMac will get updated, and then after that, it didn't seem to be much, which makes sense for maybe the weird time. I think they're kind of leaning into the holiday of Halloween coming up. Maybe they'll play off of that. If Tim Cook comes out in like a Dracula outfit, it's worth watching just for that, and there might be something to that. But
I guess it's time for me to go back to the Hagenburger In-N-Out burger.
Right. It's time for you to get refreshed.
Right. That time has come. I am headed back to the Bay Area on the 10th of November. So
it's possible.
Right.
It could happen.
A little In-N-Out and get myself a new MacBook Pro.
Yeah, that could work. So it does sound like that. It is an interesting time, though. 8 o'clock. It's usually 1 p.m. Eastern time and 10. So it makes me think maybe they're just having some fun, but it's probably not a huge announcement either.
No, and the nice thing is, and this was brought up, no more, these are not live. It's not like people sitting around watching this. So they record it and they put it out in prime time on the East Coast. This is the same time you'd be watching Monday Night Football.
That is true. So, yeah, I think it'll probably, let's see, football starts, 8:30?
Does it?
Kickoff for Monday night, I think. So
maybe.
I think this will be done by 8:30. I'm going to just take a guess. Usually they're roughly an hour. I'm going to give this one 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, we're trying to keep up with Apple by keeping this podcast to 30 minutes. So
yes.
There you go.
Well, I think they got inside word from us that that's what we were doing. So
right.
Yeah. On some not so good news in terms of announcements, Apple's jacked up prices on their services again, which is just great. So
by the way, this is not just Apple doing this. Every single one of these streaming services is screaming another dollar out of your pocket, which raises some questions, which we'll get to. But go ahead to the prices, Tom.
Okay. So they have increased prices of Apple TV Plus and Apple News Plus by $3. We're going to do U.S. prices. It'll be different with currency stuff depending on where you are listening. But anyway, plus $3 for Apple TV Plus and Apple News Plus. So Apple TV Plus is now $9.99. Apple News Plus $12.99, which seems like a lot for that.
Mm-hmm.
Apple Arcade went up $2 to $6.99, which seems a lot for that. Apple One bundles, which I think you have a bundle, right?
I do. Yeah, I have the Premier.
Yeah, that's what I have too. So they've, of course, in conjunction, have seen their prices go up as well. The individual plan has gone up $3. The family plan up $3. So individual is $19.95. Family plan is $29.95. The Premier plan, you really get screwed. It's up $5 to $37.95.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not a fan of. That started at $29.95, if I recall, a few years back. Again, no surprise, but do not lose faith, dear friends. The free iCloud storage plan is still 5 gigs.
Ah, you know what? Just enough to do nothing with.
Exactly. It might as well be 0.
Yeah, well, and what's interesting is, I was reading during Fireball last week, and John Gruber was talking about these upgrades, and you don't usually hear him get too ugly about this kind of stuff, but he was like, he doesn't understand why there isn't a little more storage on the table. And I don't either. I mean, I am using, I've got the 2 terabyte plan, so I'm using, a fair amount of that. Still not all of it and I'm the one that uses up most of the space.
Right.
I have almost completely gone to iCloud Drive for most of my stuff, other than the Synology disk station that I have here, and occasionally Dropbox for stuff that I need to do Dropbox for. But 5 gigs? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple could afford to give a little more away. It feels, I don't know. It feels icky that they don't.
It does. It feels very cheap. And I think it was Basic Apple Guy made that chart of the iCloud's free storage tier, and it's been 5 gigs since it was released.
Oh, yeah. Well, nice.
A decade or more ago.
Right.
So, which is great. So now might be a good time if you do have a bundle that maybe you just picked up because, well, it's only a couple of dollars more and I get these other things, which is kind of what we did initially because I don't really care about Fitness Plus. I don't use that. I don't use Apple News Plus. Apple Arcade I checked out, don't really use that. So I was thinking, as I talked to you about this week in messages, that I was maybe going to jump out of the bundle and move just to Music Plus and iCloud Plus. But it turns out someone in the household is a big News Plus user, which
there you have it. See,
so I'm staying put, but yeah, glad I asked.
yeah, you might have had little time sleeping somewhere else if you had done it wrong. So.
Yeah, because like when I asked, she was like, "Oh yeah, I use it all the time," and I was like, "Whoa, I had no idea." And she listed off 6 or 7, maybe 8 magazines she thumbs through when she's bored. And I was like, "Wow, that's all right." So we kept it. But if you're considering it, it's probably a good time to take a look and maybe say, okay, well, I really only use these 2, so I'm going to drop that and save $10 or $12 a month because that adds up. I mean, it's $120 a year. So, because I've trimmed some things out of late. We've talked about that a little bit in the show, but we've talked about it quite a bit outside of the show. So, I've gotten rid of some app subscriptions. Like I got rid of Drafts. I got rid of Craft. Which I still need to get a bunch of stuff out of there. So mark this down in our book, if we had one, of things Tom planned to do but didn't do, is to get my stuff out of Craft. So I'll probably get to that December 1st and be like, yeah, I'm not getting that stuff out. I'm just going to feed him another $40 for the year. Which in comparison to the Premier plan at $38 a month seems pretty cheap. So I did that. I got rid of some streaming services for TV shows and things. Like we got rid of Hulu. We got rid of Disney Plus. I would love to get rid of Netflix, but that's her News Plus of streaming services, so I'm not going to touch that one. So I've tried to rein some of these in. I did pick up a new one this week, which we're not going to get into too much today, but I got the ChatGPT Plus subscription at $20 a month.
Selling your soul to Satan.
That's okay. He's saving me time. He's saving me time up front. It's going to cost me dearly in the end.
Right. That's what it always is, isn't it?
It is.
It's that sweet temptation. Sweet.
So what about you? Have you trim down any subscriptions?
Yeah, I have gone through and done a lot of things. Like you, Craft got rid of. I think that runs out, and I don't have anything substantial in there. We were using it, I should say, mostly for this show. So there's nothing in there that I need to keep that way. I am dropping Fantastical, not because I don't like it, but I just don't think I'm getting as much benefit from it. I've started as I think I should be getting from it for the dollars that I'm spending. So I'm jumping back to Apple Calendar, which for me is working just fine. It has actually gotten to be a much better application in the latest few versions of the OS. So I'm dropping that. I did get rid of my cable subscription a little bit ago, and I'm still kind of fooling around with the what ifs and what fors for that. So I no longer have an HBO or whatever it is called now, Max. Max is no longer in my house, so I don't have that. That was part of my cable subscription. I'm playing around with a couple of different streaming services. Here's the thing that kind of drives me crazy, and that is that I watch some sports, not a ton, but I'm watching the World Series. Great game last night, by the way. Rangers winning a walk-off in 11 innings, which was frigging brilliant. Also frigging exhausting because I'm on New York time.
Up a little late.
Yeah. I watch soccer, and in fact, pay for a Peacock Plus or whatever the heck that thing's called subscription so I can watch Premier League soccer and enjoy that. Again, I don't really sit down and watch those games. I'm doing other stuff in the office typically while I'm watching, but I like to be able to keep my eye on the Premier League and do that kind of stuff. I would love a package that just allowed me to choose this kind of a la carte, and have it be all the things that I need it to be. I do not watch any broadcast television. None. Right. Zero. Other than sports. I am currently trying out YouTube TV, much to my chagrin. You know how much I hate to do any of that stuff, but have bounced around from a couple of those. It's frustrating. Here's a crazy thing, by the way. Speaking of subscriptions, which I've dropped this subscription as well. I got an ESPN subscription thinking that I could watch ESPN, but it's not an ESPN subscription. It's ESPN Plus, which does not give you what you expect it to. There's a football game on, sign into your cable provider. What the frig is that about? I'm paying you, dorks. Give me what it is. So I am in the process of doing the same thing that you are in the process of doing. I am pulling out what it is that I want to spend money on, and I may eventually fall back on the Hulu Plus stuff, which gives you ESPN with all this stuff on it. How
much is that a month typically? Last you checked anyway.
I'd have to go back and check.
Probably $12-14.
Yeah, it's not that expensive, really. Yeah. It's pretty okay. I think it's maybe $19 for that.
Okay.
For all of because I do, I am really enjoying Loki on Disney. Really, it's a really good, one of the few Marvel things that seems okay. There's a lot of crap on there too. It just seems like they're throwing, content out to have content out there. But all these streaming services could do a much better job of offering some a la carte package, that they could easily have access to, that you could easily have access to the stuff that you want. I do not need any of the other 70 channels that YouTube TV offers. I don't. Mm-hmm. There's nothing on, truthfully. There's a lot of content. There's nothing there. And while we're bitching.
We don't do that here.
Never. It's the bitching AF show. The other thing that's starting to drive me a little crazy is all of the content that is subscribe to me. There are a lot of people that I want to read, and I think I mentioned this a couple episodes back. I really miss the normal magazine newspaper idea. You got Medium and you've got Substack and you've got all these other little things. And Medium I'm canceling that subscription too. It's valueless. It used to be pretty decent. It's garbage.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gone to Substack, but in order to read their stuff, you got to subscribe to a bunch of individual people. So come on, like how many of those for the same 40, $50 a month that I would have gotten with a magazine, like I do subscribe to The Atlantic and read that on the regular. I get a print subscription. I have access to all that, but there's
Look at you going old school with the print subscription.
Oh, dude, I am, I just, before I came down here to record with you this morning, I sat and read my New York Times, Tom. I'm old. I can smell the newsprint on my fingers.
The fish wrap.
Yeah. I like I use it to start fires and start my grill.
Well,
so,
that's about all it's good for.
Very artisanal here. So yeah, anyway, kind of rant over, but I'm a little worn out by all the little subscriptions.
Yeah, it's moving to that death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing. And if you're not careful, I mean, and again, I don't mind subscriptions necessarily.
No, I don't either.
But I think the thing is there's so many to choose from. And it's like, well, I'm not going to spend $300 a month on, 75 different subscriptions. So, and I think that's part of what I'm doing with this changes I've been making is not so much I'm getting out of subscriptions, but I do think it's a good idea to just evaluate. And I think you've mentioned that before too, just reevaluate what you have, because sometimes, an app's a good fit. Don't mind paying for it. But then if, job roles change, or maybe you drop a hobby and you're not really needing it anymore, well, drop it, pick up something that's more applicable to what you need, which is part of what's the big reason I went into the ChatGPT Plus subscription this week. Is we've got a big AI focus at work right now. So I thought I need to spend some time with that and really get to know it and what it can and can't do. And there's 100 plus of those services available. And so that's just one of them. But so I'm digging into that, and I have found some value from that already with some time savings. And so that's been, to me, that's worth the $20. Now, if it gets to the point where I just don't use it anymore, or I'm not seeing that value, then I'll drop it too. Fantastical, I think, is what, $60?
Yeah,
now?
It's getting super expensive, and it's nice because you got apps for every device that you're working on. But dude,
yeah.
It's a calendar.
Yeah, and the thing that keeps me in it for now, like if they jack the price up again, like another 20% like they did last time, I'll probably drop it. The calendar sets I use a lot, and so that's where you can go in. And if you've got, 5 calendars, maybe you've got a work calendar, or 3 like we have at the office. Like I've got my calendar. We have a campus community calendar that shows, it's registration for fall. It's administrative offices are closed for a holiday, those types of things. And then we've got a couple in interdepartment that are like, here's who's out today. Here's the planning calendar. So I'll probably have 12 to 15 between work and home. And so I can set up sets, and you can have those be, I think they tie into the focus stuff as well, which I don't really use that, but I do have them set up for time. So like at 8:00, it switches to my work view calendar during the week. And then at 5:00, it automatically switches back to my home calendar. So I don't see work stuff. Again, I like it a lot, but if they say go from $60 to $80, I'll be like, I don't like it that much. I'll just get, a cheaper calendar app and keep work stuff in that app and use my personal stuff in a different app. And basically,
and then the question is, can you do the same things that you're doing with Fantastical using focuses and things which I haven't played with yet? Those are ideas, and
right.
Much like you, I work from home mostly, so I don't have. I do have a 9 to 5 calendar, but sometimes I don't have a 9 to 5, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Sometimes
no, it does.
I'm working even. So those kind of focus changes don't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always reliable in terms of what it is that I'm doing. Sometimes I'm
schedule's a little more dynamic
at night
than mine might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I don't need to spend that money is basically what it comes down to. And I'm trying to find ways to do that better. There are apps for that now. I can't even remember what the name of it is, but there's one that's advertising all the time now about, I see it during football games, right in between the betting ads.
No coincidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Spend less money on your subscriptions and more money betting on football.
DraftKings.
Yeah, exactly. But there is I think it's Rocket is what it's called. It used to be.
I think you're right.
It's a part of Rocket Mortgage. Rocket is the name of
Manager
it.
subscriptions.
Correct. But you're paying the subscription for that. Manage your subscription.
That's wild. Yeah.
So, right? So have a nice day.
So I guess takeaway is those things. I think it's just something that is probably good once a year just to look at and say, do I still need this? If you do, keep moving forward. If you don't, move something else or move to nothing and just keep the money for other things.
When it comes to streaming services, the nice thing about those is you can drop one. And then if some show comes on, you pop it on, you watch the show that you want to watch, and then you drop it again. It's a little less, in the old days, it was like, I cancel cable. You cancel 50 different things. This is a little, from that perspective, a little less onerous when it comes to, figuring out what it is that you want to watch or want to do. But yeah. I don't know. And by the way, Max has gotten a little janky anyway. Like Apple TV, for me, there's a lot of good content on there. If you're interested in watching, TV, Apple TV, for my money, has kind of taken the place of HBO. HBO is now all sorts of junky other stuff,
right?
TV shows I don't give a crap about. So.
Yep. And speaking of your money.
Of my money.
What have you spent some money on recently? You've got some new stuff.
Yeah, I did. I picked up, and I've played with it some, an AstroPad screen cover for the iPad, which is a kind of interesting concept. So you get a new tip for the iPad Pencil for the Apple Pencil, and it is a screen cover that goes on that feels a lot more like paper. You may or may not know this, Tom, write with typically pencils, or I have a couple of fountain pens that I use that provide a lot of resistance when I write. My handwriting sucks. So it sucks worse with, with slippery pencils or pens or things like that don't work very well. And that's a problem for me with the Apple Pencil. The Apple Pencil, against glass is slidey. It's not very precise. So my already junky handwriting becomes really, really junky with the introduction of glass in that little tip. This actually provides this AstroPad screen cover provides it's a magnetic basically cover that goes on the display. So not a pain to remove and put back on again. It's pretty simple as far as that's concerned. Special tip that you put on the pencil, and it's got kind of hard to explain. It's a slightly more resistant cover. So in other words, it's dappled a little bit. It's got little dots on it. It's more like paper. That's all I would say. Mm-hmm. So that you can write with this, draw with it, do all the other things that you might do with it. And it works quite nicely for that. I spent a while writing notes. I'm working on a project right now where I'm actually keeping a notebook on the work that I'm doing, kind of like day to day, and jotting down ideas and doing things of that nature. That project may be revealed at some point in time later, but I am taking some time, to write things down in a notebook, essentially keeping a diary, but not exactly that. Also ideas and things that go on. And I use a combination of things. I use notes when I'm doing that. Mm-hmm. So I took some time to write with the AstroPad, the Apple Pencil, and it works really well for me. The downside for me is while it's on, it considerably dims the screen. The protector itself essentially puts a fog over it. So if I'm going to watch something, which I often do, like if I'm cooking dinner or washing dishes or doing things of that nature, I'll have the iPad up there. You don't want that on while you're watching, whatever it is that you're watching, the football game.
I think that's the brilliant approach to this one that's quite a bit different. Like Paper-like, of course, is very popular. One of those covers that you slap on the iPad and gives you that more paper-like.
Yeah, semi-opaque though.
Yeah, and but it does impact the display quality. Like you get a little rainbowing from the cover itself, the way the light refracts off of that. But I like that this one's magnetic, so you just drop it on there. You're right. When you're done, you can take it off.
Yeah, that's
pretty slick.
It is. It's a real benefit. That is a real plus side to it. But when you take it off, you have to care for it as well, right? You have to make sure it goes back into, and they provide, it's like a sleeve. It's more like, a Peachy folder. That's going to make me like 5,000 years old. If you remember Peachy folders. No, Tom doesn't even.
No, I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
I probably would have maybe if I saw it. I'd be, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you would.
So how does it attach to the iPad with the magnets? Does it go around to the back side, just straight on the front?
Nope, on the face. So it's got if you've got the iPad in portrait mode, what it has is it has bands on either side, just on the left and right hand side, that attach to the magnets that are on the display itself. Anyway, so you just swap it up there. And it connects little, it doesn't snap into place, if that makes any sense. You kind of have to adjust it a little bit. So it's, even with the edges, you can put it on cockeyed if you want to.
Gotcha.
When I say if you want to, it's easy to make that mistake and have, a little edge hanging over the top and the bottom. But easy to readjust. It's not really difficult to do that.
Okay. So does it squirm around much as you're writing, or once it's on, it's pretty strong?
No, it's on. It's on.
Okay,
and it's really good. And little bit of you can sense, and there may be a way that I can fix this a little better. You get a little sense of distance between the actual protector and the glass below. So like when you press on it, there's you can feel the gap.
That's what I was wondering, like with
it's
the
not
attachment
huge.
piece, like, because I was thinking if it were the magnets on the front, like you can only get it so close to the display and stuff.
The magnets are super, super thin.
Yeah.
Hard. I mean,
they don't need to be very big.
It's almost indiscernible, and it could be, when I've experienced that, just a matter of, maybe I need to stretch the edges out, like when you're making a bed.
Right.
Yep. You kind of have to tighten everything and then tuck it underneath. It's kind of that same thing. You got to make sure that when you're laying it down, that you're laying it down as tight as possible. It's not bad. It really is not bad.
Okay.
So I do like it a lot.
Good.
And I will use it for those kinds of notes.
What's the price tag on that?
It's like $35.
Okay.
And that includes pencil tips and the sheet itself. So it was not too bad.
I might have to get one of those, Jeff.
I think so.
Have me tempted on, because I do like to write. I don't write on the iPad a lot. It's usually when I'm trying to do some like serious thinking and just kind of get my head wrapped around some concepts and sketch stuff out. But it could be interesting. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Good thing.
All right. And
next up,
talk
about that FineWoven case.
Let's do it. You've had that for a while now.
I have now. I've had it on my phone now for at least a month. It's been at least that long, and I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS on all the people who says that it's a piece of crap and it's going to stain easily and do all that stuff. I have been using this as I would normally use it. As I used my leather case before. And fact of the matter is, I like the thing.
Okay.
Is it worth $60? Okay, maybe not. I can eat that, but all this, it's crappy, it scratches it. You had to be doing something to make it.
Well, I wonder too, because it's new, if there were like just some early batches that maybe were not as good as some others. Because we've seen that with leather cases when they come out. Like some come out and they're like creases, like production creases in it, not like wear and tear creases and stuff. Because I've seen pictures on Mac Rumors that people have had, and Stephen Robles did a YouTube video with some different cases and things. And he's, what I like about Stephen is he is one of the most balanced YouTubers and Apple, thought people. He does the Apple Insider podcast too. And he didn't like it because he just didn't like the way it felt. But so I wonder if that was maybe some of it too, where some of that was an issue, because some people were saying that the cutouts at the bottom were off center and were kind of janky, but And we've seen that with the leather cases though before too. And so maybe that's all it was. It was just, as first runs, we've fixed most of that stuff. And
yeah, I got this though at the time that they were released. I ordered one almost immediately. So yeah, that's possible. But
it's hard to say.
I'm looking at it now. I did get a blue case, which is unusual for me. I'm not really a blue guy. Blue's not my favorite color. But I took a dark blue one, and there's nothing wrong with it from my perspective.
There you go, folks. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up from
so far
Jeff.
From Jeff on the AstroPad
Flame
and
me
the
for it.
FineWoven case.
Yeah. And
I mean, that's good. I mean, it's, you see what everyone else says, but you've got firsthand experience. So I'm glad you got that thing.
I'm going to go back to naked too.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of the goal in this, but this is a lot. Anyway, what was the next question, Tom?
No, I was just going to ask if that leather case showed up.
It has not showed yet.
Okay.
Because I ordered the wrong one, and then a million other people ordered the right one. I'm getting my right one when they finish production on it. So I have not seen that yet. So it's coming, but it ain't here yet.
Okay. All right. So not there yet.
Not there yet.
Okay. So FineWoven is good.
Yeah.
We'll wait to see when the bullstrap case shows up. Maybe do a little comparison between the two.
Yeah, they're going to be significantly different. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be a...
Yeah, because that bullstrap is like legit sweet leather case.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had the 15 Pro Max, like you felt it, you've seen it, you know what's coming, you just need the right, or you had 15 Pro because you have the Pro Max phone. But yeah, so you're just waiting for the right one to show up.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say again too that, I thought the jump from the 15 Pro to the 15 Pro, from the 13 Pro to the 15 Pro Max was going to be significant hand issue, like not comfortable. I'm finding no problem with that either.
Have you adjusted to the placement of the action button, or is
nope. Hate it.
Okay. Yeah.
That action button needs to be down below. Yeah.
Right.
It's what I find myself doing is hitting the volume button.
Yeah.
When I want to hit the action button. It's currently a look and find. So that needs to be midpoint of the phone. It needs to be below the volume buttons.
Yeah, so that's probably so this is the 15. They'll get another year or two out of this, 16, 17. So iPhone 18, they'll probably relocate.
Good.
Yeah.
They'll catch up.
So maybe I'll wait till then.
By that time, then you'll just be able to tap 2 fingers together and it'll do it.
With your headset.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, with the headset. So, all right. I think that's it.
Tom, we did it in 30 minutes-ish.
Look at us go.
Dang.
That was pretty good.
You can finish your whole workout and enjoy the whole show. We've done it right this time.
We may have. So, like we said, do let us know, though, what you think of the shorter format versus the longer. That seemed to go pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, no, I think so, too. And you can tell us at feedback@basicafshow.com. You can find us on the web at basicafshow.com. Tom Anderson has a newsletter. How do you get that, Tom?
You go to tomfanderson.com, and there's a sign-up link there. It's also in the show notes for every episode, so if you want to just tap over to that in your podcast app, you can do it right there.
Yep. So make sure to share us with all your friends, all your enemies, all your frenemies, anybody that anybody that you think would be nice to have them listen to us, because we're good.
We'd appreciate that.
We just need more. We need more people listening to us. As always, our podcast artwork is by Randall Martin Design. Highly recommend. As I mentioned, he's been working on a book with my sister. He did a fantastic job. Looks great. She's got that coming out here pretty shortly. And music by Psychokinetics, also. Same dude, different group, Celsius 7. So look up Psychokinetics and Celsius 7 on your favorite streaming services.
Sounds good. And we do thank them for that. All right.
Yes, indeed.
So that's going to wrap us up. Thank you once again for being here. Have a great rest of your day or your night.
Yes. See ya all later.
Imperfections do prefer to leave you on a pedestal, so I'll improve. Cause if I'm finding out you know more, then I'm just like you.